Mezen is a fairly abstract board game based on art, folk art from the 19th century. Very simple, using red, white, and black, and representing animals and spruces. We are gonna have a board like this that goes in the middle of the table that is gonna be used to keep track of score, moving our score markers there. We're gonna use it to store our amulets that will be used during the game. There's different art, but they're all equivalent. And most importantly, we place 10 gold cards there. Each turn, the players will score one of the cards, and of course, that's how you collect a lot of points. You have a good number of cards, and based on the symbols here, they belong to different sets. And you will always see the card for the current turn and the next one. So, for example, this is the first turn. We're gonna play the way that I will tell you. Then we score that card that will give 2 victory points for each goose that we have in those positions. But we also see what the next one is. So after we play that turn, then we flip this one face down. We're gonna start that turn. We'll score that at the end of the turn, but we also know that this is the next thing that scores. So ideally, you're trying to score the current card and set up your personal display for the next one, but I can't do it. I'm not very good at it, but that's my personal experience there. That also means that these 10 cards also act as the countdown, so you know which turn you're playing. There will be a special scoring phase at the end of turn 5, but that will make sense later, I think. You start with some amulets, and also you start with a set of tokens, such as these. They're double-sided, as you can see. They differ in the shape, so you know which tile belongs to which set. Each player will take one, and they will randomly form a grid of 5x5 tokens, precisely like the one that you see here. One player will be the active player, will alternate being the active player. At the beginning of a new turn, the active player names one of the animals that we see here. Horse, fish, porcupine, goose, fox. Have I forgotten anybody? If I have, we'll see them. Suppose that the active player, which may be me, says horse. Now, the other players may pay an amulet, so they say, nope, I choose my own animal. Or they may go, if they don't have amulets and they don't want to spend them, they go with the animal that was named. Suppose horses. Now, each player must select a group of orthogonal adjacent tiles belonging to that animal. So if we said horse, this is a group, I could choose this one, or this is a single group of one. You know, remember, orthogonal adjacent, this is not good enough. I have a group of 2 horses there, and I think those are my choices. However, amulets, remember those? In this phase, I can choose to place an amulet on a tile to bridge a group. For example, now, because I put a tile there and I choose to bridge, I have a group of 1, 2, 3 horses here. You can also use an amulet to exclude a tile from a group. So I could, again, we're playing with horse. I put a tile there. Now that's excluded, so this would be a group of 1. Otherwise, if I select that group, it would be the group of 2. Why is that important? And suppose I did that with the bridge. Why is that important? After each player selects a group of the animal that was declared, you remove all of the tiles of that group. You flip them the other way, so they reveal different animals. There's also a 6 symbol here, which is a spruce. If you use amulets, they're discarded. And then the remaining tiles will fall, like in those video games. And the other tiles that we flip to the dark side are placed there to replenish the display in any order. And so that would be how my board, you saw how it looked at the beginning of the game, and after somebody named a special animal, one of the animals, and I took the turn. The basic idea will be this. you will remove things. Why do you do so? Because that is how you manipulate your board, and that is how you try to achieve these objectives. I don't think that what I did helped me at all, but it was just an example, because it didn't move any geese around here. But suppose that we're scoring this, well, I would be scoring 4 points there, not because of my skill, and another 2 points here, 6 points, pretty neat. Actually, you know what? Had I placed, there you go, a goose showed up, so I have 2 more points there. Yay, I mean, not bad actually. That's going to be the best score I've ever seen in a single round. Ideally, however, it would have been good not to remove so many horses, because next turn I need goose plus horse equal love. No, maybe, but it definitely equals 2 points for each pair that I have. And when it's like this, each tile can be counted only as a single pair. Suppose we're playing the next tile and somebody says a fish, and then I decide to remove these 2. Does it make sense? I have no idea. Geese and horses. I don't know. I'll bridge it because I want a lot of fish to remove, so maybe I can find a lot of horses. And I found one. Sliding down, like they're falling. Now I can put a horse there. And like so. So as you can see, as the game progresses, there will be more tiles showing their black side. And at the end of round 5, there's a little dot on the turn track as a reminder. At the end of round 5, you score a point for each tile that you have showing that is showing the black side. We played that until round 10, and at the end of round 10, you also score points for each amulet that you still have, and points for each tile that you have, which is with the white side face up again. So ideally, you want to turn as many showing the black side before round 5, and then quickly try to put them back with the white side showing before turn 10. This is the idea. You play 10 rounds, so you score a card each round, and you see what the next one is. You alternate being the player who calls the thing, who calls what the active animal is, and that's the idea. That's how you play Mezen. So the game is playable solo, and it's a very simple way. You play, it's always your turn, you always choose the animal, you have fewer tiles, but that's pretty much the general idea. And then you have a lot of control, or some control over your board, and you're trying to match those goals. And I enjoyed it as a quiet, relaxing solo game, in which, well, I was trying to do what I believe you're supposed to be doing. Plan ahead, try to go for the goal of flipping as many tiles to the dark side as possible, then back to the light side as possible. They go together pretty well. But there were times in which I felt slightly frustrated because I felt like that I wanted to do more. Now, very often in reviews of games, we say, oh, there are so many things that you can do and you cannot do them all. And that's usually a positive because it means I'm considering so many interesting options. Here I felt that there just wasn't a lot that I could do. There were maybe 2 options, and one would give me 2 points, one would give me also 2 points, and neither of them really affected what the next turn would be. I just felt that there wasn't a lot that I was doing that impacted the game. But again, overall, it was relaxing and just a little almost contemplative experience. I like the art a lot, and so almost as an excuse to just move around these styles, that was an interesting little bonus added in there. Then I played with 2 players, and I enjoyed it a lot less. The game, they say, goes up to 5 players. I really don't need any of that. With 2 players already, there was too much downtime, much or some of those caused by me, which is my least favorite type of downtime, because I start feeling guilty that I'm slowing down the game for other people. Because now there wasn't a lot that I could do. Actually, there was even less that I could do because I could decide the identity of the animal that I would remove from the game even fewer times, only half of the time. And so that's why playing with more people, being decided only twice per game with 5 players and having to wait for 4 other people to make their decisions, it just felt, I don't think I'm gonna enjoy that at all. Because again, there was already too little control and too much downtime for me playing with two. And the other was my wife, who was pretty quick, much quicker than me. I guess the point emotionally, strategically, was that I didn't feel that I was building, oh, I'm going to score this turn and I'm going to build to the next and so on and so forth. I mean, that's the idea, I think, and I was achieving that to some extent in the solo game. But with two players, I felt I was just managing frustration and loss, and there was just too much randomness, too little control. I didn't think I was building up to these things, but I was just doing the least damaging thing. I was just trying to minimize the damage that was coming out. It didn't feel satisfying. I thought I was just looking for the least pathetic option all the time. I was thinking all the time about if I could do one more thing here, one more thing there. I spent more time thinking about what I couldn't do than what I could do, and so that wasn't a very satisfying experience. Again, I can't imagine this, at least for me, being enjoyable with more than two people. But that's my experience with Mezen. A very nice, elegant looking component. I like the general idea on paper. It felt like a relaxing puzzle solo, but there was too little control, too few meaningful decisions for me to enjoy it as a multiplayer game.